part 2 of the discussion of Amanda Gorman's The Hill We Climb. I am Ingrid Rizzolo, and it's that time again. It's time for my talk. Today I offer part 2 as I continue to look at Amanda Gorman's poem, The Hill We Climb.
Now we assert, how could catastrophe possibly prevail over us? We will not march back to what was, but move to what shall be, a country that is bruised but whole, benevolent but bold, fierce and free. We will not be turned around or interrupted by intimidation.
Amanda Gorman offers a template for a renewed America. In offering her template, she references specters of history that plague and distort American reality as points of departure. In fact, in The Hill We Climb, history is never far away. It is the one thing that continues to dog our footsteps. Implication is we cannot seem to shake history's deleterious effects. And because we are so weighted down by the loss and pain of history, we are forced to lumber forward to the future as the weight of our history is impeding forward movement. Since history's weight is inescapable, we have to find accurate ways of reconciling our history with our present actuality for a renewed America. Gorman's analogy to the biblical account of Jonah in the line, "We brave the belly of the beast," tells of expected outcomes in treating with history. In this Jonah analogy, Amanda is suggesting that some are running away from facing history, but it does catch up with us, as it did with Jonah. For a renewed America, like Jonah emerging from the belly of his beast, we need to emerge on the right side of history. Gorman inspires confidence that we will exit this recent phase of dark history-making events, determined to right the wrongs of history that led us in this place. Inherent here is the confidence that we will work to do the right and execute restorative justice violations which continue to overshadow us. Inferred here is the need to address established ways of distribution of wealth, of opportunities and privileges within our society in order to move from fracture to signity of wholeness. Included here too is the imperative to address issues of equal justice before the law. To get to this desired place and move up to the hill to a place of elevation, we must first acknowledge and address wrong mindsets and lingering warped perspectives. She says, we've learned that quiet isn't always peace. And the norms, the notions of what isn't always justice.
It's the belly of the beast. We've learned that quiet isn't always peace, and the norms and notions of what just isn't always just is. And yet the dawn is ours.
In the persona of a fighter for social justice, Amanda Gorman challenges America to confront its shortcomings and to question and address normed systems of injustice. She holds a lamp up to what is the reality of the American experience for some, to indicate the need for distributive justice on all fronts. Amanda Gorman does not only reflect the reality of America back to itself, but she also calls on all Americans to shape a more perfect America. Gorman becomes more specific when she goes on to redefine the concept of American pride and what it means to be American. She says, it's because being American is more than a pride we inherit. She's suggesting, however, we need to go beyond the pride to fix what is not right with this great country, fixing the brokenness of America. She says it's the past we must step into and how we repair it. A new America must be about the task of overhauling history. Amanda Gorman also affirms that Americans have the strength to be architects of a renewed America. For this, Gorman draws on the hopefulness and the indomitable spirit of the American frontiersmen and their power to transcend and to push boundaries using ingenuity to come up with new ideas. We, the successors of a country and a time, she says, but within it, we found the power to author a new chapter, to offer new hope and laughter to ourselves. She directs our minds to this rich heritage in order to offer hope.
In this faith we trust, for while we have our eyes on the future, history has its eyes on us. This is the era of just redemption. We feared it at its inception. We did not feel prepared to be the heirs of such a terrifying hour, but within it we found the power to author a new chapter, to offer hope and laughter to ourselves. So,
not only this, Amanda talks back to racism and division as she says, and so we lift our gazes, not to what stands between us, but what stands before us. We close the divide because we know to put our future first, we must first put our differences aside. In the renewed America, there must no longer be obliterations and divides or hidden figures. Imbalances and divides must be engaged with and effectively dealt with. Like other American poets and writers, Gorman calls for an acknowledgement of America's inherent diversity. One could hear echoes of Walt Whitman's poem, America Singing, in which he shouts, "I hear America singing, the varied carols I hear."
I hear America singing, the varied carols I hear.
Gorman invokes the frequency of this well-respected poet in an effort to drive home the need for active recognition of the idea that America is not a solo but a blend, and by inference what that calls for. In The Hill We Climb, we also hear echoes of ancestral voices. For instance, in the stanza of the poem which reads, "We will rise from the gold-limbed hills of the west. We will rise from the windswept east." We hear echoes of Maya Angelou's "Still I Rise." We also hear echoes of Dr. King's "I Have a Dream" speech, in which he demanded, "Let freedom ring from the heightening Alleghenies of Pennsylvania. Let freedom ring from the snow-capped Rockies of Colorado." Cadences of hope, tenacity, and determination intertwine to form a rich tapestry in The Hill We Climb. Like an American quilt, Gorman stitched together frequencies of the greats to inform us of the mindsets we must embrace for the hill we need to climb. While some may argue as to the eternality of her poem, I will argue for its urgency as America was or is beating out. We needed and still need her brand of patriotism that chastens with optimism. As African-American writer James Baldwin intimated, the issues with which our fathers were beset should not beset us now. Neither should the scarring events of 2020 and early 21 beset us.
We'll raise this wounded world into a wondrous one. We will rise from the gold-limbed hills of the west. We will rise from the windswept northeast, where our forefathers first realized revolution. We will rise from the lake-rimmed cities of the Midwestern states. We will rise from the sun-baked south. We will rebuild, reconcile, and recover in every known nook of our nation, in every corner called our country.
I think Amanda Gorman's poem, The Hill We Climb, offered an anthem of hope to the American people, a hope for new possibilities for a renewed America. I am Ingrid Rizzolo, and it has been my talk. Please subscribe, like, and comment. See you next time on It's My Talk. Bye for now.